What's up, people? Old Mick Waller. There's Mini Mick Waller right there. So I'm out here. I'm about to put together this new raised bed over here in this corner. Youngin's about to cut the grass a little bit. Let me just show you guys really quickly what I'm working with. So I got 8-foot boards. I got 3 8-foot boards. I ended up cutting them up because I'm only going to make them about 2 feet wide. So from the fence, the arm reach. That's what we're thinking about when you're doing raised beds, right? So the key when you're doing a raised bed, like this is a 4x4, right? The goal is to be able to reach and to harvest from any angle you can at the raised bed. Because it's a wall there, right? Arm reach is only going to be 2.5 feet from the wall. If you go out longer than that, it's going to be difficult, and then you're going to have to step in to your raised bed, which the point of having a raised bed is that you don't actually step in to there because it compacts the soil and it starts damaging roots and stuff like that. So I'm only going to be making, so though it's going to be 8 foot wide, the actual depth is only going to be 2 feet. Okay, so they already came in 8-foot lengths. All I did was I bought 3 of these, cut 2 feet and 2 feet, had 4 feet left, obviously, and I just took some milk cartons that I had, took that 4 foot, and put the herbs that normally get eaten up higher, away from things that might eat them up. Nothing eats the mints, so they can stay on the ground. But everything, like, if a groundhog comes in, he's going to want to attack my cilantro and my parsley. So raising them up is a way to deter them from being able to be eaten. I mean, technically he could still climb up on the thing and eat it if he wants, but it kind of makes a slight deterrent. So I use that board for that. So I'm gonna get started over here, guys. I'm gonna clean out some stuff and I'm gonna do some things, and I'll take you guys with me along the way. All right. Okay, so the idea that I had, now mind you guys, I am not going off of a template here. I was literally went to sleep one night and I got this idea, and so I'm kind of putting this thing together based on the idea that popped in my head. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm making a trellising system, right? So this is going to be a raised bed, and it's going to have a trellising system that is attached to it. Okay, and because it's so wide, I'm going with 4 PVC pipe, and these are 1/2-inch PVC. I went with 1/2-inch because it's cheaper. And I'm going to be putting like a net on it, to like a trellising net across it when it's all said and done. But for right now, this is the idea that I'm going with. Okay, so what I'm going to do is attach the PVC pipes to the one board using some clamps. These little where are you at? C-wall clamps, right? So this goes over the PVC pipe, and it just has the little 2 holes. And I already had this a long time ago. These are exterior galvanized nails. So I'm just going to nail each one, and what I'm gonna do is probably use maybe 2, possibly 3. I'm gonna start off with 2 of these on each one at the bottom, just to see, and then I'm gonna see how sturdy that is and see if I need to add a third. Okay, I'll come back after I show you guys what happened. Hey guys, so I do want to show you this. Before I start hammering, I measured out, if you could see this line here, I had to measure out how far over my board is going to come, right? So that's going to that's giving me a gauge on where I'm going to start. So you want to make sure you do that, okay? All right, people, so I just wanted to show you what I'm doing, what it looks like. If you could see, just hammering those in like that. Now, let me explain something to you guys, because some of you guys are perfectionists, and I know my videos may be driving you nuts because I don't actually tell you guys how many inches and how long this is and all that, because I don't actually do all of that. I go by eyesight, all right? And because we're doing this stuff in the garden, I'm not building a structure for a home or anything like that. I'm not actually a handyman. I just do what I need to do when I need to do it. And so this is not about being perfectionist. This is about just making it happen, okay? So the only measurement that I made is, because I need to know where that other board is going to come in at. So you see that line right there. After that, I don't, these clamps are not the perfect distance apart from one another. And the clamps on that one, they may be off from the way these are, because I don't really care. I just need by eyesight to spread them out, see how they feel. I need enough space because just in case I need to add a third one in the middle, you know what I mean? I have enough space to do that, and that's it. And then the distance between them, I'm going to kind of estimate to try to make it somewhat even, but that's about it. In gardening, you don't need that much perfection. You just need to make it happen, okay? All right, guys, so I have them all attached. You can see how this goes. Now, let me explain something to you guys. These PVC pipes come in 10-foot lengths, right? So now, obviously, I can't reach 10 feet. But when you put up a trellis, if you're growing things like pole beans, cucumbers, and any of those vining things, and you train them to go up, they will grow as tall as your trellis is. So, but my goal here is not to make it super tall. I need to make it so that I can actually reach it. And it's not even standing straight up and reaching it, right? Because I got to stand out 2 feet from it, because that's the width of my raised bed, and then reach. So I needed to be a certain length that way. Now, the way I'm going to cut these, or how I'm going to use my measurement on how much I'm cutting off, I'm basically going to look at, just by eye, the distance between all of these four. And when I go by eye, it looks, this distance here, these two poles here have the longest distance. They're the longest distance apart from one another. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna measure how long that is, that distance, that space is between these two. And whatever that is, that's how much I'm gonna cut off down off the top of this pole here. Because the goal is to use what I cut off is going to be used to reach to this other pole. I'm going to cut off the same amount there, reach to that pole, cut off, and I'll use, my little PVC snips to cut, little bit off here to make the adjustments. But that's how I'm going to make my initial cut from the height. I'm going to make that initial cut based on the distance between these two, because what I cut off has to reach to the other side. So I'll measure that out, and I'll let you guys see what's going on. Oh guys, before I get started, just in case you might ask, how am I actually cutting this PVC? I am using a PVC cutter. I bought this I think last year when I was building the garden, and I figure I'm gonna probably end up using this. I use PVC a lot in different things, so I actually use this. It's a really good tool. I got the HDX, which is the Home Depot brand, it's a cheaper one. And basically you open this thing up like this. And that's the fattest PVC that it can cut. And they have like different sizes if you want a fatter one. And you get it around your PVC and it's like a ratchet and it snips it. And then you just open it back up and do the same thing. Now what that does, this makes a super clean cut. You know, you could use a saw or whatever you want to cut these with, but this makes a super clean cut. So this is why I use this particular tool when I'm working with the PVC. Just wanted you guys to see. Okay, so my pieces are cut, as you can see up top. And what I'm gonna do is use connectors. So I'm using these for the corners. The ones that's on the ends, I'm gonna use these. And then for the ones in the middle, I'm using the T connectors. It'll go here and go here. Okay, so I started doing this and I said, let me make sure, you know, just in case a newbie is watching, I wanna make sure that they don't mess this up, okay? So this one is connected, fairly straight. It's what you want, right? Now, what I do is when you come to the top here, right? This is connected. I put the other connector on that one and then just naturally just let it go. Now, if it's right there, right? You know that it'll go in that hole, no problem. And these are flexible so they can move a little bit. If this thing fell down way up here, then you know you're short with this pole. You know what I'm saying? Or if it fell way down here, just naturally, then you're too, you know, this pole here is too high. You might need to cut off some. But because it fell right around there, right, in your wiggle space where it's touching this T, you know it's good. Now, this is obviously too long for the T. Now, what you don't do, let me see if I can do this with one hand. I'm not going to cut, but what I don't want to do is cut at the edge of this T. Remember, the pole got to go in the T. So when I see it like this, I'm going to cut right here in the middle of the T. That's how much I'm cutting off. Okay, right here in the middle of the T, that's how much I'm cutting off. And then what I'm gonna do is just pull it back and then it should be able to fit right in, okay? Okay guys, so I got all the connections up. Now, I know it looks like it's coming down slanted and that's not because of my loose measurements. That's because, remember, my property is slanted. So if you look down at the board down at the bottom, you'll see how it's more fence. So I have to raise up this end of the raised bed when it's time to fill. But I'm not worrying about that yet because I just got to put it on. I just wanted you to see the end product, see how tall my stuff is going to be growing over the fence. And let's keep it moving. I'm just going to attach the sideboards. You guys already know how I do that. If you go to the video that I made for making the sifter, that's the same thing I do. I'm gonna attach a clamp, a corner clamp on these boards here, this board and my little short 2-foot boards. And then I'm gonna drill a pilot hole in these and drill some deck screws in through those holes. I'm gonna do 3 of them on this board here. I'm gonna do 3 of them and that's it. And here we go, guys. So this is basically your product. You can see it's not filled, of course. I'll do that in another video. This video is getting too long anyway, and all you guys really need to see is the base here. when I put the net up, I'll show you what to purchase and how I'm actually going to put this net up. So here is the finished product. Hope you guys liked it. All right, peace.